Have you ever thought about how powerful Sirius Black really was in Harry Potter? What if he wasn't as heroic as he seemed? In today's video, you will find out why Sirius Black is one of the most controversial characters in the entire series. Sirius Black had a tragic fate, a rebellious spirit, and undeniable magical talent. But calling him a good character is not that simple. He was brave, loyal, and willing to fight for what he believed in. Yet his past was filled with reckless choices that led to serious consequences. From childhood, Sirius stood out. Born into the infamous Black family, he rejected their obsession with blood purity and refused to follow their path. His defiance led him to Gryffindor, where he found his true family, James Potter, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew. Together they became the Marauders, a mischievous and fearless group of friends. But his rebellious nature put him at odds with his own relatives. At 16, he ran away from home, cutting ties with the family that never truly accepted him. When Lord Voldemort rose to power, Sirius joined the Order of the Phoenix. He fought alongside James and Lily, even becoming the godfather of their son, Harry. But then came the ultimate betrayal. Peter Pettigrew, whom Sirius had always looked down on, revealed the Potter's hiding place to Voldemort. In one night, Sirius lost everything. His best friends were dead, and their murderer walked free. Consumed by rage, Sirius hunted down Pettigrew, only to be framed for his crimes. With a single explosion, Peter faked his own death, left a street full of bodies, and disappeared, leaving Sirius to take the fall. 12 years in Azkaban, 12 years of torment, locked away with soul-draining dementors. Yet somehow, Sirius endured. When he discovered that Peter was still alive, he did the impossible, escaped from Azkaban, something no wizard had ever done before. His only goal was revenge, but fate had other plans. Instead of killing Pettigrew, Sirius became a fugitive, forced to hide in the shadows. He watched over Harry from afar, longing to be the father figure his godson needed. Despite his hardships, Sirius was a formidable wizard. He fought Death Eaters, held his own in duels, and was one of the few wizards who could transform into an animagus at will. He resisted the soul-crushing effects of Azkaban for over a decade, something even seasoned wizards could not do. But was he truly great? Compared to legends like Dumbledore and Voldemort, his magic was not exceptional. His strength lay in his resilience, not in raw power. Yet for all his heroism, Sirius was far from perfect. His childhood arrogance never left him. He bullied Peter Pettigrew, treating him as lesser, which may have driven Peter to betray the Potters. He tormented Severus Snape, turning his school years into a nightmare. Even as an adult, he was reckless, impulsive, and often blinded by emotions. His inability to think before acting led to his own downfall. His final moment, rushing to battle, facing his deranged cousin Bellatrix Lestrange, ended in tragedy. Sirius Black was complex, brave but reckless, loyal but flawed, a hero but not a saint. Some see him as a tragic figure, a man broken by fate. Others see a reckless troublemaker whose choices led to disaster. What do you think? Was Sirius Black a true hero, or did his own flaws seal his fate? The Black family was feared and respected. Their name carried power, whispered in the halls of the Ministry of Magic and the dark corners of Knockturn Alley. They were pure-blood supremacists, obsessed with lineage and legacy. Marrying a Muggle-born, or worse, a Muggle, was an unthinkable disgrace. They erased traitors from the family tree, burned their names off the tapestry. Sirius Black, the eldest son of Orion and Walburga Black, became their greatest disappointment. From childhood, Sirius felt like an outsider. His parents expected obedience, but he had too much fire in him to kneel. He despised their obsession with blood purity, their blind loyalty to Voldemort's ideals. At home, he was surrounded by cruelty. His mother, Walburga, was a harsh, cold woman, her voice sharp as broken glass. She filled Grimmauld Place with portraits of long-dead ancestors, their eyes watching, judging. His younger brother, Regulus, absorbed their teachings without question. But Sirius fought back. "I hated the whole lot of them," he later admitted to Harry. The final break came at Hogwarts. The Black family had always been in Slytherin, generation after generation. But when the sorting hat touched Sirius's head, it shouted Gryffindor. The betrayal was instant. His mother's letters turned colder. His relatives whispered about him at gatherings, calling him a disgrace. He found solace with the Potters, with James, who became his true brother. "I never considered myself part of my family," he told Harry years later. "I ran away when I was 16. Sirius wasn't the first Black to rebel. His uncle, Alphard, had been cast out for showing kindness to a half-blood. Andromeda, his cousin, was disowned for marrying a Muggle-born Ted Tonks. The family tree at Grimmauld Place bore the scars of their defiance. Names burned away, their existence denied. But Sirius was different. He didn't just break away, he fought against everything his family stood for. One of the darkest secrets of the Black family lay in their alliances. While they never openly served Voldemort, many supported him from the shadows. His cousin Bellatrix Lestrange became one of his most devoted followers, torturing and killing in his name. His brother Regulus joined the Death Eaters as a teenager. But even Regulus had his limits. He discovered the truth about Voldemort's Horcruxes and sacrificed himself to stop him. Sirius never knew until years later, long after his brother was gone. Their house at 12 Grimmauld Place was more than a home. It was a fortress of dark magic. The walls whispered with enchantments. The furniture creaked with curses. Kreacher, their old house elf, hoarded relics of a violent past. The house held memories of ancient rituals and dark family secrets. It was filled with portraits of ancestors who sneered at anyone they deemed unworthy. Filthy half-bloods, while Walburga's portrait shrieked whenever an outsider stepped in. The Black family believed they were superior. Walburga's greatest wish was to see her sons rise to power, to marry well, to continue the family's greatness. But Sirius shattered her dreams. He refused to bow. He walked away, leaving behind a family that had already decided he was dead to them. And yet, they never truly let him go. His mother kept his name on the family tree, a cruel reminder of her hatred. His past haunted him, even in the Order of the Phoenix. For all his rebellion, Sirius carried his family's fire. He was reckless, proud, unwilling to back down. In many ways, he was more like them than he wanted to admit. But he chose a different path. He fought for freedom instead of control. He chose love over blood. "The world isn't split into good people and Death Eaters," he told Harry. He knew darkness. He had lived with it. But he had also rejected it. Sirius's story wasn't just one of defiance. It was one of survival. He broke away from a family that had tried to shape him into something he refused to be. He fought against everything they stood for, even when it cost him everything. And in the end, he proved that family is not about blood, it's about the choices you make.